My name's Chris Thompson and I'm the Associate Dean Education in the Faculty of Science. Now this short video is all about enrolment. So the purpose is to explain how some of the rules work for enrolling in all of the different subjects, or as you'll see, we call them units, that make up your course. So by the end of this video, you might be thinking about your entire course and all of the different subjects that you might do, but the most important thing at the moment is just getting your enrolment sorted out for the first year of your course. And it might look something like this. So you can see here I have, first of all, colour-coded the different subjects that you might be doing in the first year of your course. Now, you can be doing up to 8 different science subjects, but as many as 2 of them can be electives from somewhere else in the university. And it might be you're interested in languages or studying accounting or a law subject, and you're more than welcome to use your electives to study those things. Or you might be the kind of student who just loves science and you want to do more science. You're absolutely welcome to make those choices as well. So every single one of these subjects is what we call a unit, and we measure them using credit points. So one unit is worth 6 credit points. So as you can see, there's 8 of those in a calendar year. In the first half of the year, or the first semester as we call it, you would do 4 units, adding up to 24 credit points, and then you would do the same thing in the second semester. By the time you got to the end of your course, if you're a full-time student all of the way through, it would end up looking something like this. You can see that a minimum of those units need to be from the Faculty of Science, so science or mathematics subjects. Up to 8 of them can be electives, and as I say, you could just about do anything from right across the university, but you could also use those electives to study more science, and many students do. Now the other thing which I'm going to come back to, you'll notice at the top of this diagram there's a couple of specific mentions. One is a unit called SCI 1000, and one of them is a mathematics and statistics unit. Every student that does a Bachelor of Science will do these 2 options. It's an important part of doing the course. One's about science communication, and the other one's a mathematics or statistics subject to make sure every single one of our students has at least a good foundation in maths and statistics. Of course, you can do a whole major in maths and statistics, or maths or statistics if you really want. It's completely up to you. Now, speaking of majors, what's a major? So a major is an area of science and mathematics that you specialise in. And you can see here in this block diagram, it involves doing 8 units in total, and some of them are at first year, and then second year, and then really specialising in third year. And as you can imagine, they get more and more challenging as you go through the different year levels. I'll come back to the options for majors and minors in a moment, but here's a minor. So a minor is only 4 units, and it's a combination of first year units and second or third year units. And there's lots of different options to choose from. Now, if you're thinking about that block diagram for the whole course, every single student must do a major, but there's enough room, if you like, to even do 2 majors, or you might do 1 major and 2 minors, for example. That's completely up to you. So what are these majors and minors? There's quite the range. And as these different, what we call areas of study pop up on the screen here, you can see there's probably some you've heard of before: maths and physics and chemistry, things that are offered in secondary school, and perhaps a few that you haven't heard of before that you might be curious about: pharmacology, biochemistry, immunology, areas that might be touched on at high school, but they're not subjects in their own right. So how do you know, how do you choose which of these majors and minors that you're going to have in your course? Well, the good news is you don't have to choose your major yet. The first year of your course is all about trying a few different things. And most students don't even confirm what their major is going to be until they enter the second year of their course. So don't feel any pressure at the moment that you must lock in what your major is going to be. You've got plenty of time to work that out. Okay, so here's the first year of the course, and I've got a little bit more detail here. So for example, you can see I've got the Sci 1000 unit and the Maths or the Stats unit. So let's focus on those a little bit more. The first one is a core subject that every single science student will do. It really focuses on science communication and how we use that to influence change in our society. The second one is a mathematics or statistics unit. Now you might be wondering, well, why is it maths or statistics? Aren't they all one and the same? Well, no, there's all sorts of different levels and types of mathematics and statistics you can study. And you might customise your choice based on what sort of major you're going to be doing or what sort of subject areas you're doing. You can see here I've got about 6 different suggestions for what that unit might be. It depends on what sort of mathematics you studied at high school. It might be that rather than doing mathematics, you'd like to do something which is a little bit more focused on coding and programming, in which case SCI 1022 would be a more appropriate choice. So the key is have a think about what sort of mathematics and statistics will support you best in your course, and you can read about these things in the Monash Handbook and make your choice from there. So as I've mentioned, we have semesters, units and sequences. Now, we have the first semester and the second semester, reasonably self-explanatory. I've talked about units, so what's a sequence? A sequence is a pair of units that go together coherently. So we often talk about first year biology or first year chemistry. That's 2 units, one after the other. So for example, one in the first semester and then one in the second semester. And we call that a first year sequence. The other thing I would like to mention, which is really important about the science communication unit and the maths and the statistics unit, is you can do them in either order. So you might like to do the maths or stats unit in the first semester and do the science communication unit in the second semester. In fact, probably about 50% of students will do it in that order, and that's completely up to you. In this example of a first year enrolment, you can see a few sequences, as I was talking about before. So every single unit has a unit code, and in this example here you can see I've got EAE 1011 and 1022. So that's our Earth, atmosphere and environment, where they talk about geology and the atmosphere and quite a range of different things to do with the Earth, atmosphere and the environment. And together, collectively, they form a sequence. Now, here's the handbook that I've been referring to. The best way to get to it is just go straight to Google and plug in Monash Handbook and your course code. So Bachelor of Science is S2000, that's the course code. So plug that into Google. That's always going to be the quickest way to get to it. That'll bring up the Google hit and you'll notice it's the #1. So that's how powerful we are here at Monash. We've got the #1 Google hit. Now, once that loads up, make sure you're looking at the correct year, so 2022, and it will bring up the different aspects of the course, which includes an overview, where the course is offered, all of the double degree combinations that you can do the course with, and you can see there are many different combinations. You can see all of the different learning outcomes for the different courses. And here's probably the most important bit, the structure of the course. These are all of the rules. It tells you what combinations of units and when you should do the units to make sure you complete the course in the right amount of time. So make sure you have a really close look at this. It talks about level 1 sequences. It talks about the science communication unit that I was referring to earlier. It talks about the mathematics requirement. And you can see as you click on all of these different sections, it brings a little drop down which shows you more information. Here are the different majors, or these are the different science subjects that you can do. There's a few nice little one-off science electives in there, so make sure you have a good look at those. And then I think the next list is for the majors. And finally, what have we got here? Applied mathematics, applied microbiology. That's the list we were looking at earlier. And then finally, we've got the extended majors. So an extended major is when you've got 12 units in the same subject that go collectively together. And then you can see there's a short list of minors that are available as well. This describes the free electives, which I talked about earlier, and you can choose from just about anywhere in the university. You might even want to stay on at Monash and do one of our postgraduate courses at the end, and these are all listed here. So that's the Monash Handbook, and that's the entry for the course. That's for the Bachelor of Science. The handbook also has a page for every single unit that we offer. So if you think there's a subject or a unit, you think I might be interested in that, Go to the handbook page. It'll tell you what it's all about. What's the synopsis? What are the rules? And what's the assessment? How many lectures does it have every week? It's all in the handbook. I've talked about electives a little bit. This is really a chance for you to try a few different things to sit alongside your science course. For example, you might have studied a language at high school and you would love to keep studying that language. Or maybe there's things you've always been curious about, but you've never had the chance to study. Go and have a look around the handbook and look for options and possibilities. And you'll find that there's a whole range of different things that you can study in those elective units. But don't forget, if you just want to study science, you can use these elective units just to do more science units. So I'm coming to the end of the video. This is what your course will look like towards the end. So don't forget, you've got the science communication unit and the maths stats unit, which should be done in the first year of your course, but you can do them in whichever order you want. And quite frankly, at the moment, the most important thing is just getting the first year sorted out. Don't worry about the second year. Don't worry about the third year. Just get this block diagram up and running and into the system, and your first year at Monash will get off to a great start.